It's 6 minutes past 8. Good morning. Now, residents living near the proposed site of the new Cambridge South railway station say they're concerned about reports the station will be built without a car park. The station would serve Addenbrooke's Hospital and the surrounding area. A feasibility study is being carried out by the bodies behind the project. They include AstraZeneca, the Cambridge Biomedical Campus, Network Rail, Greater Anglia and Cambridgeshire County Council. It's been reported in the Cambridge News that council chiefs accept the plans won't feature a car park facility. Our reporter Naima Islam has been speaking to residents on Nightingale Avenue near Addenbrooke's.
The traffic in Cambridge is impossible anyway, and we've been here for about 20 years now, and since then the traffic around our area has increased hugely. But I don't honestly think there's many more people can't park around here. I mean, there's yellow lines and the streets, all the local streets are full of commuters. I don't know where local people park. Well, I suppose most people have got drives, but there is no more parking on the streets for extra people, I don't think.
Are you excited about the new Cambridge South station?
I couldn't say excited, no.
Okay. What do you know about it so far?
Only that it's been talked about for many years. Well, I'm hoping it will reduce the amount of parking because more people arrive at the hospital by train.
Currently, is there a parking problem down Nightingale Avenue?
There's a permanent parking problem in this area because of hospital staff who are charged to park in the hospital. I would hope that more people would arrive at the hospital by train and therefore not need to use their cars, and that might reduce the amount of traffic and parking in the area, bearing in mind how they're extending that hospital site.
The problem with the station, I can see it just being like anything else. It's a huge project. It's going to be incredibly disruptive. And, you know, I love the way that they talk about it. AstraZeneca are coming. Trust me, I know this industry. AstraZeneca might be bought out in a couple of years. AstraZeneca might not even be here in a couple of years, even less than that. And that's a fact. So it's not that they can't do it. I mean, think of that carbuncle sitting over there in the biomedical campus. That car park itself is just ridiculous. It's expensive land around Cambridge, and they built a car park above ground. Why didn't they put that underground and build on top of it? I know it costs more money, but actually in the long run, better use of property, better use of land, They just don't think.
Well, we've heard the view this morning from MP for South Cambridgeshire, Heidi Allen. She told me earlier that the new railway station could actually help keep some cars away from nearby streets.
Or I guess you can flip it on its head and say the other way, that maybe less people, particularly staff, who also have to pay, to park there, will have an alternative means of getting to work. So actually it could work the other way and take some of the pressures off parking. Because, it's where people want to get to. They're not parking there to leave the area.
Heidi Allen there, MP for South Cambridgeshire. Views from the text this morning from Alan in Trumpington, who says Heidi Allen is dreaming. Of course people will park there. It is just wishful thinking to say they won't. John in Bassingbourn says, Dottie, there might be no more parking at the new railway station, but there will be more parking at other district stations in the area. Getting more people to use the train will mean more driving to other railway stations away from Cambridge. John, I hadn't thought of that, but I suppose that is a distinct possibility. Edward Lee joins us now, leader of Smarter Cambridge Transport, a volunteer group that develops and promotes transport ideas around the city. Morning, Edward.
Good morning, Dottie.
So where do you stand on this? Should there be a car park at the new proposed Cambridge South railway station?
I think on balance, no, simply because there's already a lot of car parks on the site, and in fact, there's another one due to be built for Papworth, and the roads just simply don't have the capacity to hold the traffic that will be feeding into these car parks. So we actually think the answer is to use the Trumpeton Park and Ride, probably relocated and enlarged, moving it closer to the M11 junction, and running a shuttle service from there, in fact, to both stations, and that's people who need to drive to the station drive there, and then they get a bus for the last bit on the guided busway.
Do you think people will really do that, though? It's just yet another step, isn't it?
Well, that's true, but if it's a frequent service and it runs from early enough until late enough, and it's cheap enough, then yes, I think people will. In fact, it's cheaper to do that now than it is to park at the station in the city centre, and when you take into account the time it takes to drive up Hills Road, find a parking space, pay, actually it probably is even quicker to do that from the park and ride side.
You've seen, though, Edward, the residential streets around Cambridge railway station, places like Rustack Road, Fanshawe Road, Davy Road, they're always clogged up with cars, many of them belonging to people who do park there and then walk to Cambridge Central railway station. Now, why is there this thinking that just won't happen at Cambridge South if there's no car park?
Well, it will if there aren't parking controls. I mean, it's inevitable that if there's a free option, then people will take it.
So why not just accept that and build a car park and make the prices attractive enough that people take the financial hit in return for the convenience?
Simply because the roads won't take it, and it's already
build more roads.
Well, there isn't really a lot of space, and it's an expensive use of valuable land. Actually, it's better to not draw the cars into the city centre and into the biomedical campus, and give people. I mean, ultimately, best of all, give them a light rail shuttle service that's got a really high capacity and it's really pleasant and it's really reliable.
But in the meantime, are people living on nearby residential streets not going to suffer?
Well, they'll need to get the parking controls in, as is likely to happen around the station area, and also around Cambridge North Station, because of that, this very problem. And so, there will become residence parking, or at least all-day free parking will be eliminated.
What about this suggestion from John in Bassingbourn that the arrival of Cambridge South railway station will mean more people trying to park around other railway stations in South Cambridgeshire?
Yes, but in a sense that's good, isn't it? I mean, that's rather than them driving into the city where it's causing a big problem.
But again, that's a benefit maybe for Cambridge at large, but not for people on these residential streets that are going to be clogged up with commuters' cars.
Yes, so we need to select which stations we want people to be driving to, and actually there's a strong case for creating a new one on the A11 at 6 Mile Bottom to get people in on the railway line there. But Foxton, if that had a car park as part of the plan to get the A10 over the railway line as a what they call grade separator, getting a bridge or a tunnel under, put a car park there that intercepts traffic before it's going through Harston, for instance, which is already struggling with the traffic going through there. So we can actually improve things by improving access to the rail network further away from the city.
And it took a very long time, Edward, for Cambridge North to be built. It took several decades for that to actually come to fruition. What do you see for Cambridge South? When do you think it might materialise?
Well, the date that I've heard is 2022. That probably seems realistic. But who knows? I think the need is urgent. I mean, we are expecting there to be a huge growth in the number of people moving on and off the biomedical campus. If they don't have access by rail, then there's going to be more people driving. So we won't be worrying about people driving to the station. We'll be worrying about driving to work, and therefore continuing to park in local streets or clog up the car parks there. So. The need is urgent, and I just hope that both the funding and the Network Rails Corporation and all the rest of it comes together to deliver it.
Edward Lee there from Smarter Transport Cambridge. Stephen's been in touch from Bottisher. Morning, Stephen. Says, I think the proposed Cambridge South railway station should have a car park, as I can see London-bound commuters using it rather than travelling into Cambridge Central. Yeah, me too, kind of, Stephen. I can see that as well. That other people this morning saying that won't happen, not least Heidi Allen, who's the MP for South Cambridgeshire.